back, fishing friends, to another adventure. It's a week after the Bassmaster Classic and the Expo. I'm out here at the Buffalo Hole, gonna test some lures. Hey, and I came across Leo Shang from Extreme Philly Fishing. He was with Ben and the guys with Euro Tackle and Caperlan. And so I had a chance to visit with them for a little while and got some of their baits. I'm gonna test some out and see what we got rolling here. Hey, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all the support. Man, I love fishing, and I'm always making some kind of fishing videos, you guys know. Channel's growing, so thanks for hanging out. As usual, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just get out and fish, you know. I already have a career, which I love, and have a good time doing that, but I just like testing new stuff. So today, we're gonna test out a spinnerbait, and this one's called the Spino, and this one is from Caperlan. It's a 3/8. Check out that color. So we're gonna bomb this around. I got a trailer I'm gonna use, and of course I love throwing all kinds of spinners, so we're gonna test this out and see what we can catch. Let's go for it. So there it is. So what I'm throwing on the back of this thing, it looks like a grub. It is kind of a grub. Look at that tail on that little pink tail, excuse me. So I'm gonna be throwing this around. That's from Arky Lures. It's like a little, it's a grub. It's an Ocean Logic grub, but I'm still gonna give it a whirl here. I love that color, that white. So we do have some wind today, but the chop makes it nice. And that color, that white with that is gonna look, with the pink. I also have some in red. They're gonna look fantastic with that red tip. Ooh, we just had a fish come up and bust the surface right here. So with the spinnerbait, I just crank, slow crank, kill it. Crank, slow crank, kill it. Crank, slow crank, kill it. Look at that, just let it do its thing. It's got these nice blades on there. Anytime you got wind, it makes it great to throw a spinnerbait. Oh! I had one come up and just whack it, and he didn't take it. I know what that was. I know exactly what that was, guys. There's some huge bluegill in here, and he came up and popped it. Yeah, check out that color. That looks great. And I do have another trailer. Lots of different trailers I can test out with these. But man, this combo right here I think is gonna work great. So I had a great time talking with the guys. I can't remember the one dude's name. He's from France. I like the Anisaptera I use for microfishing. Man, that thing is just epic. And then the EPF Swim. I've caught a ton of fish on that before. So I was happy they made it out here for the Expo and the Classic. And I had a great time talking with them. I was trying to convince Ben to move over here from where they're based. I said, man, you got to set up shop in Texas. So, you know, he knows. He explained what the deal was, but I still had to kind of promote my state, you know. Anyway, it was fun to talk to them. They had a lot of traffic at their booth. And of course, Leo, you know, he's always eager to talk fishing and all kinds of good stuff. So it was nice to chat with him about fishing, of course. And I like the feel of this spinner blade here. It's really nice. Guys, we're hooked up on the Spino from Caperlan. Oh, he's digging. He's digging. He's digging. He's digging. Holy cow, look at this. This is a massive crappie. Look at the size of that thing. Wow. All right, guys. I gotta try to get some grass. It's caught down in his throat there. Dig it out for him. There we go. Man, this is a hog of a crappie. On that, look at that thing. That is a beast on that Caperlan Spino. So over at Euro Tackle, you can go over there and pick them up. Top-notch spinnerbait, man. And the trailer was at Ocean Logic. It's a little grub from Arky. There it is, right there. It looks like a little shad, like a distressed shad with that tail on there. You could fish this without a trailer too, but man, he just smoked that. Great color down in the water. Look at that tail just flares. So I've got the tail rigged vertically, but you could rig it horizontal too to get a nice paddle. The thing with that is you got to remember with trailers, they can cause your spinners and stuff, bladed jigs to come up. So you just got to fish it kind of slow. But man, I love this thing. Great prices, great quality. They have a ton of colors too. Smooth, guys. This is smooth. I'm throwing it on 12-pound braid to a 12-pound leader on my St. Croix Victory with my custom grip. I put a pickleball grip on there. You're like, what? Yeah, because my hands sweat so much. The cork, I don't mind the cork, but I just need that grip. Even with this wind, guys, the sensitivity I could feel on the end of that from that guy just smacking the heck out of it. All right, guys, so what's up next from Caperlan is this little 2.09 inch little crankbait CRKSR 53F. So it's got these BKK hooks on it, so we're gonna bomb this guy around. It's like a little shad pattern, so we're gonna have some fun with this. Wind is still picking up here, but man, it is nice and sunny. Let's hopefully we can catch something. All right, boys, here she is, that little square bill. And that's a good color. Let's see what it looks like in the water. Oh yeah. Perfect to bring right over the top of, ooh, when she casts a country mile, bring it right over the top of that cabbage. Oh yeah, this thing cranks pretty smooth. Good little crankbait right here. A little bit of cabbage, but the one thing with this is just remember with anything you're pulling through, and if you feel it kind of gets stuck a little bit, pop it through, and a lot of times that's where the bites come from. I mean, just bam, because it's, you know, erratic in a sense. I saw him come up and just whack it. Hey, I don't mind catching a pig bluegill. Alright boys, we're hooked up on the Caperlan square bill. Just smoked it out there. I don't know how big he is, but man, he's fighting pretty good. There he is down there, I see him. Check that out. That's a nice bass. Alright, check that out. Nice little square bill action right there. Man, that looks good. Check out those pretty colors on this guy. There he is. It's a gorgeous fish right there. In you go. Ooh. Man, he shot off that way. That was pretty cool. Alright boys, next up it's this Caperlan RB jig straight out of the package. Sometimes I like to trim my skirts up right about there, but I'm going to leave this guy as is to start out, and I can always trim it later. Let's get this thing rolling, see what we can catch with him. Looks like a cool black and blue. Look at that. Let's get it. Guys, sneaky, sneaky. I put a little General from Berkeley, scented. One of those back scent Generals on the back of that thing. And that's why I leave the tail the skirt just as it is. Don't worry, it'll work, it'll come through. Look at that. Yippers. Look at that sparkle from that blue on there. Oh man, that thing casts really nice. So with jigs, I kind of drag them on the bottom sometimes, and other times I'll swim in through the cover. And remember, if it gets stuck, pop it through and then just kill it, because a lot of times I'll hammer it right as it comes through all the cabbage and junk. And a lot of times when you throw it, just let it lay there, and they'll come down and sniff it. Alright boys, on this Caperlan RB jig, boy, I got something nice on here. Boy, he's pushing through the cabbage, that's why. I pitched over there under that tree, and I forgot to get the camera going. Ooh, check this out, boy, it's a nice bass right there. Check that guy out on the Caperlan RB jig. Man, that's awesome. Alright, there we go. Check them out, guys, right there, looking good. One last look. I don't like to have their eyes in the sun like that too much, and definitely in the wind. There he goes under the dock. Man, that was good stuff. Just right off that point there, he flared out and bang, got it. I saw him come up and hit it. The problem was I didn't get the camera turned on before I cast. That's how it goes. Alright, let's take a look at this. This is it right here. So, let me get this bit of cabbage off. So what I do is, I do have a little clip on there. Sometimes I direct tie, but see how I flare out hopefully you can see that I flare out the weed guard. That way it's not so noticeable to them. And then I've got the little Mac scent on there, which stinks, as you know. Is the Berkeley stuff stinks. And I'm gonna go right back into that spot. So it's just right under that tree. I see a log over there. I know there's like a little cave that runs in there, like a in-cut into the bank. So right in there, I've caught some fish out of there before. The problem is we've had all this crazy wind. I don't know what kind of snags and junk are down in there now. I got to put this thing through its paces, you know, run it through wood, laydowns. There's definitely a laydown over there. How are you gonna do a true evaluation of a jig or a lure if you don't put it through some tough stuff? I don't know if you can see it, but the log is just right in there. Comes out, and then there's a whole bunch of cabbage up under the tree. So we're just gonna pitch around and see what we can come up with there. Right at the end of that log. Nobody's home. I know where that cutout is in the bank is right over there. I smoked one last time I was here and there on a jig. This comes through just fine. It's just that snot that's down there. Kind of that algae. Alright, let's go back in. Alright, boys. On this Caperlan. Ooh! On this jig. It's a nice fish right there. He's digging. Let's go. Boy, that's another nice bass. Look at that. Alright, guys, there he is. Check him out. Nice fish. Let's get him in there. There he goes. Just off that little point again right over there. Ooh. Just bombing it in there, and I just let it sit there for a little bit. Look at that. A little max scent on the back end of that thing. Let's see if we can go out a little further and try to get one a little further away from that point. Let's see. Uh-oh, I think I'm snagged. Nope. I think I got a fish here. Yep. It's coming through the cabbage here. There he is. Ooh! It's a monster crappie. There we go. Look at that guy. Yeah. Man, that's good fish. All right, guys. I had some people pull up and want to visit with me. Wanted to know if there was any fish in here. So I couldn't really do more of an analysis, but on the jig, after catching that big crappie, man, that thing was a pig. All right, let's see. You know, the thing was, it was sitting on the bottom there for a little bit, because when they pulled up, I started talking to them, you know, and had to get the camera out of there, you know, shut the camera down, or thinking about shutting it down, but then all of a sudden, boom, boom, I could felt the thumps on there, and I was like, I better get this fish in. Right in there, right off that point where we were talking about. Just kind of bouncing it along. All right, let's do a recap. So at the Bassmaster Classic, I went by the Euro tackle booth there with Caperlan, and Leo Shang was there, Ben. And so I've got a ton of videos on the Ani Saptera. I'll show you one here in just a minute, from microfishing and the EPF swim. And man, I've had a ton of fun with the Euro tackle stuff, and I've never knew anything about this Caperlan. And so Ben was telling me all about it, and I met the gentleman there. He speaks French. He's from France. And really nice guy. Talked to him, talking about, you know, fishing. And so I got some products, and I was like, man, I got to test these out. And I'm happy I did. So I tested the square bill out, the spinno, the spinnerbait, guys, hopefully you can see that. They're my two colors of the Ani Subdetas. And they catch fish, man. They are just phenomenal. I use these for my micro setups. And I also use the EPF Swim. These will catch crappie, panfish, bass. They're just so much fun to throw. So all the stuff from Euro Tackle and what I fished with Caperlan today, I gotta give them a thumbs up. Excellent products. Don't fall asleep on these guys right here. Go pick some up. There you go. The Ani Subdeta. And then of course, the stuff I fished with today, the square bill, the jig, and the spinno. Excellent products. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me for today's video. I'm happy I got to hang out with the Euro Tackle dudes and Caperlan and Leo and Ben and all that good stuff. So to be able to buy some products from them and test them out was a lot of fun. Such a great day. I mean, it's windy, but it, you know, it's how it is in Texas in March and April. All right, guys, on the Caperlan frog here, just in that shallow water, right along the grass there. Check that out. Bang! Right in the corner of the mouth there. That is awesome. Let's get this guy over here. Boy, this wind is crazy. All right, guys, there he is. Hey, he's not a big guy, but boy, he sure was hunting. Good stuff. Whew, boy, you can feel that breeze coming in. Last time I was here, the wind was blowing that way. Now it's coming in this way, north wind. All right, let's keep it up. There it is, right there, guys. It's a nice, durable frog. It's got softness, so when they bite, it'll crush down. So I'm just hitting these grass lines through here. And I'm just skipping it in there. And just bringing it back with a typical frog retrieve. Ooh, that breeze. And then sometimes I'll kill it, you know, just kind of let it sit there. Give him a chance to think about it. Yeah, right now in the Texas Panhandle, they're getting 6 to 8 inches of snow, which it does happen there. We've had snow there in May before. I'm in the North Texas area, so we're not really seeing that. All right, guys, on the Caperlan topwater frog in this black color. Well, he just smoked it up under that tree over there. There he is. There we go. Check that out, man. That's a nice. There he is, guys. Hey, he's not too big, but he was hungry. Boom! Right under the dock. Just right over there under the tree. And it was hunting right along the shoreline there, and bang! That was a nice fish. So that's a couple of them. We're gonna go out just a little further. So I'm just hopping her along, and then I like to give it a pause. And then I count to 5. Every time I've done it on a pause, it's just been wrecked. So under that tree, there's like a little trench under there. There's all kinds of branches and cabbage. And so this thing's very castable, easy to get in there. thought I saw a wake following it. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, I will see you then. Bye-bye. Now get out there and get your lures wet.